All right, here we go. Monday night Knicks. And hey man, if there's ever a team that you're looking to get your groove back on, that you're looking to get back into the swing of things with, it's the Sacramento Queens. Knicks losing 3 straight, coming back home to the Garden. And hey man, they would coast to an easy victory, led by Evan Fournier, led by my guy Alec Burks. Put some respect on his name. Solid game by Julius Randle, 61 points by the Knicks bench. Block Ness Monster chipped in with a solid game, and yeah man, this was an easy one for the Knicks, man. You don't hear that too much, but nevertheless, we are here. Knicks postgame live, presented by PrizePicks. CP the Franchise, Ashley Moss, Alex Towers, Stratocast in the building. 116.96. Knicks get an easy dub. Salute to Knicks Nation. How's everybody feel, man? Hit that thumbs up button for your squad. Easy victory, man. We've been going through so much turmoil with this team. Loses a 3 straight. Some bad losses. But, Evan Fournier said, look, man, let me put this team on my back, Al. 18 points, 16 in the first quarter. Was solid. I mean, Fournier's really been having a solid stretch. You know, really been knocking down some shots. And I thought he set an overall good tone. Julius Randle, much maligned within this fan base. Hey, give credit to Julius. I thought Julius had a solid game on both ends, especially in the third quarter. Thought he was pretty good facilitating, knocked down some shots, played some solid defense. But then, look, man, 61 points out of that Knicks bench. You had Burks at 21, Grimes 14, Obi 14 as well, man. Give me some thoughts on give me your thoughts on this game, Al.
Yeah, I mean, Kings only had a lead for the first 4 minutes of the game, and then it was easy sailing for the New York Knicks from there on out. As you said, Evan Fournier had 16 points in the first quarter, got all of his 18 points in the first half, and then was cold in the second. But then you had Alec Burks in the second unit in that second quarter just extend that lead even more, right? Third quarter, you know, as always, Tibbs leaves the starters in there, and it was okay. It wasn't anything to go right and home about, but they were able to maintain a lead, just keep it steady. And then you have your second unit come back in and just blow the doors open and take us all the way home to victory. And I think the best thing about it was that Tibbs actually allowed the second unit to like close it out. Cause usually, you know how he brings the first unit back in and then gives them even more minutes. So I like that he was able to give those guys a rest. And look, man, Grimes, I think one guy I have to just talk about is just Quentin Grimes, man.
Quentin Grimes, bro. Go ahead.
Dude, all over the place, just defensively, offensively, giving the shake and bake to Tyrese Halliburton, man. Yeah. Knocking him down from 3. This kid, like, we were talking about Knicks Weekly. You mentioned it last night. This kid's locked in the rotation.
Locked.
I don't know how, like, he's a foundational piece moving forward. There's no way this kid could be on the block. You got to keep him around. Locked. He's just so good, man. So good.
And the thing about Grimes was that obviously his defense was solid, played some solid defense on Halliburton in particular, especially in that second half. But you saw some nice plays off the dribble. And that's one of his things coming into this season, was one of his areas of, improvement was working, when those guys run him off the 3-point line. How's he going to put the ball on the floor and be effective? And you saw that. Yeah, also had some solid passes as well. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals for Quentin Grimes, all over it. Definitely got after it. Ash, how you feeling? What were your thoughts on this game?
Well, hi guys.
How you feeling? Welcome back, good. Ash. People thought you were dodging and ducking the smoke.
It's been a little hectic between Super Bowl and All-Star. It's about to get real crazy for me, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. Look, for me, it's not a win I'm going to get too high off of, but there were some really good things in this game. I think for me, the thing that starts out is this team wasn't overcomplicating the game, right? A lot of easy buckets, letting the game come to them. The offense, was gelling. They were moving, they were clicking, and it was continuity basketball. I mean, we saw everybody contribute, from the starters to the bench. I mean, we got RJ Barrett with 11, Julius Randle with 17, you got Evan Fournier 18, you got Grimes 14, you got Toppin 14, you got Burks 21. I mean, everybody was contributing in some way, shape, or form, and they were playing like a team. And I think that's probably the thing for me that I haven't seen in such a long time, at least not consistently. That was really, really dope to see. It was this looked like a team. Everyone's body language, looked like they wanted to be there. Everybody was figuring out where they fit in the rhythm of the game. And yeah, there were some things still that Tibbs was doing that I was kind of looking at him crazy, but they overcame them. And again, it's the Sacramento Kings. It's not the Golden State Warriors. They're 13 in the West, I believe. So it's not a win I'm going to get too high off of, but there were a lot of good things that I saw. The only thing I had an issue with, the only thing,
okay, here we go.
In a garbage time game like this. I mean, this game was basically over, towards the end of the third quarter, right? Even the Knicks couldn't go ahead and mess this up.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more minutes from Cam Reddish. I think this is a perfect opportunity to get him in a game like this. It's the perfect opportunity to kind of get him out there, get him, familiar with the Garden, familiar with the lay of the land, familiar with the energy, and familiar with himself on this team. I would have liked to see more minutes from him. That is my only critique. I don't think 5 minutes was enough, especially in a blowout win like this.
Cam getting a standing ovation. We want Cam chants going on in MSG from the quote-unquote toxic Knicks fans. Who else gets that? He wasn't getting that in Atlanta. Give me a break. This is where we make kings. We make kings at MSG. So shout out to the fans. Gave him a standing ovation. Came in with about 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Had some moments. Got to the free throw line a little bit here and there. Took a couple shots. So definitely got his feet wet. So salute to Cam. Fournier, back to Fournier, man. 18 points in his last 10 games, 42% from three. He's been talking that talk, especially since that Miami game when we got embarrassed. He was looking for adjustments from the coach. He's looking for adjustments from the players, but he's putting his money where his mouth is, and he's been playing fairly solid. So I was definitely encouraged with his play. Seemed like him and Julius were really trying to work off of each other, especially in that first quarter. The ball movement was fairly crisp. And listen, it was a good one to get, even with, Julius having a slower start, RJ not having a slower start, RJ not really having a great game. But, they found a way to get it done. Thought Julius, 17 points, 9 boards, 4 dimes, came through when we needed him to. I had one play early in the first quarter where he shoots a mid-range and loses Harrison Barnes in transition. Wasn't really encouraging, but I thought as the game progressed, Julius really locked in and gave us some hustle, man. So we got to give him credit where it's due. He played hard tonight and certainly delivered where we needed him to. Going across the stat sheet, Sacramento has really been getting dominated by opposing bigs, especially all year long. So Mitchell Robinson, Al, was one of my prize picks. Overs. I took the over on Mitch tonight, over 8.5 points. Got 9, 13 boards. You saw him get an offensive rebound, put it back up for the lane. So I thought it was an aggressive Mitch out there, especially on the boards tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, the Knicks as a whole just out-rebounded the entire Kings team, 47-36 tonight.
Yep.
But Mitchell Robinson, you saw that he was making Rashawn Holmes look so small out there, just going. That's the difference when you have a 6'10" center and a 7-footer, right? So
right.
Mitch out there battling, boxing guys out, helping the Knicks just make sure that they dominated the paint and getting those easy putbacks that we needed too. You're starting to see the development of Mitchell Robinson really coming into himself as a big, and especially when you didn't know if you were getting Nerlens Noel back out there, he was playing more minutes than usual. So he was able to hold himself. You'll like to see it. This is where it just gets to be more interesting, man, where you had the Miles Turner's talk earlier in the season. Now he's cutting down weight. Well, he's cut down weight. He's back to being mobile. He's strong at the same time, and he's boxing out better. He still has to work on the screens, but he's doing what he needs to get done.
Yeah, definitely aggressive on the boards there. So great job by Mitch. Look, give credit to the Kings. I thought they played RJ well, forcing him right. Definitely wasn't letting him go left in a lot of this game. He was way off on his shots, 4-14 from the field. So it was an off night for RJ, even though he's been having a good stretch coming into this game. 11 points for RJ there. How about Obi? Ash. Obi Toppin, man. 6 of 8 from the field, 1 for 2 from downtown, 14 points for Obi. I thought Obi was strong, man, in both halves where he got into the game. I thought he was strong, and in particular, I thought he was strong attacking the basket. Really strong attacking the basket, facing up. We saw a nice dunk that he had in that Bucks game, and now he's carrying that over into this game, man. Had some nice possessions in this game.
Yeah, it's funny because my dad and I were just having a conversation about Obi not too long ago, and he was like, "You know what? You were right. I was ready to give up on Obi last season. I just did not think he had it." And I just, this just goes back to what I said last season, and that was how much for someone as young as Obi young in the grand scheme of life, right? I know in basketball years for a rookie, he's still kind of older than some of the other guys, but that pivotal first year is so important to a player's development from so many aspects, from the summer league to a proper training camp to playing in an arena with fans so you can go ahead and learn how to overcome certain obstacles and feed off of that energy when it's good. Obi didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't fair to judge him off of that season. I think he's really starting to find where he fits in this team. You can see his confidence is out there. He's playing more aggressively. I would like to see him put on some more weight, but again, he's only 23 years old. So I don't know much about, puberty of men, but I would say that, when you're young, it's still a little difficult to put on some weight. He'll be able to do that as he gets older. Go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. I just feel like maybe I'm right on that aspect, but it's just nice to really see him start to get into his own. And I think what I also enjoy is that Tibbs is rewarding that effort with more minutes here and there. I would like to see him consistently play the minutes he played tonight. He had 18. I would like him anywhere between that 15 and 20-minute range on average. I just think that's pivotal in his development. But yeah, I think it's dope to see, how much he's changed from last season to this season. Yeah,
19 minutes, but I mean, let's be honest.
I used the word puberty. I don't know how to explain it. The male body. I didn't just say. I feel like the younger you are, the harder it is to put on weight. I don't know. I'm just whatever. Like, y'all know what I meant.
Yeah, he'll put on his NBA weight, but look, he got his 19 minutes. I think on the strength that we were blowing this team out. If this game got any closer, Tibbs wasn't rocking with it. He would have been out early in that fourth quarter, but tonight was one of those nights. The whole team had it cooking. 61 bench points by the Knicks, and Obi chipped in well. 14 points. Had a nice little George Gervin type finger roll out. My man was cruising in there, and Obi finishes well at the rim. That's one of the things that has been a positive with him this year. You just want to see him continue to attack the basket and have confidence in his ability to do so, because I've been saying it since last year. That's always been a part of his game that's been there. And tonight we saw that on display. So great job by him. And last but not least, Al, leading the charge off the bench. PrizePicks really disrespected my guy tonight, and I should have picked him tonight. Here we go. I could have won some money tonight if I would have been confident in him. PrizePicks set Burks' points number at 7.5 points.
Oh.
I said, whoa. So I first picked him, and then I doubled back. I took him off, and I put Fournier for over 2.5 threes. So I ended up hitting on that. But Alec Burks, man, he usually has good games against the Kings as well. 21 points, plus 25 on the night, a game high plus 25. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 and 9 from the field, 4 or 6 from downtown. Look, I thought Burks, this was a solid two-way game for him. And it was really leading that second unit as a backup point guard. Great game by Burks.
For sure. I mean, he was just confident tonight. You could see it, unlike other nights, and he felt comfortable getting to his spots. Mm-hmm. He was decisive and aggressive, and that's the type of guy you need Alec Burks to be, not to be tentative, just going back like east and west at the top of the key, just passing the ball off to whoever and just trying to be a facilitator, even though he's not really acting like a facilitator when he does that. Tonight, this is a chance for him to get back into his groove. And you just saw how he's able to get to any spot that he wanted to on the court, going downhill and finishing at the rim, and just being able to draw contact once again and to even get into better rhythm by hitting those free throws as well. So Burks was doing everything on the defensive end as well. He only got 1 steal, but he was ready to jump passing lanes pretty well. And I think that when the defense was looking at him, they're hesitant to just pass the ball to any of the teammates. But Burks was just in his bag tonight. Excellent job by him.
Yeah, great
why
job.
they coming for you? Why they coming for your man Burks in the chat? What's up with that?
All the haters, the haters. Burks Hive, we've been down bad for a little while. He went through a little bit of a drought. That's the Burks. That's
was
the
a
Burks
minute.
thing. It has been a minute. I was
It
ready
was
to cancel the
while I was
membership.
being generous, man.
Yeah. I was ready to cancel the membership. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to toss it to the side. But he bounced back well, put himself on display. Trade deadline coming up in 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hey, the Jazz just lost Joe Ingles, ACL injury. Could a return to Utah be in the cards for Alec Burks? Who knows? I don't know. But these things happen, man. 2 weeks away from the deadline, you just never know what could happen. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. We'll shout you guys out. I want to shout out, my guy Ron Hansley, $20 super chat. He says, one of the few bright spots of the season has been Mitchell Robinson. Watching Nerlens, Butterfingers, and Noel continue to drop those passes just solidifies even more that we need to re-sign the Block Ness Monster, hashtag pay Mitch. Yeah, I'm ready to pay Mitch, man. I'm ready to pay him. Like I said, he's vastly underpaid right now compared to the market. I think he deserves a raise. The Noel deal was a mistake. They said on the game, I didn't even realize that Noel was actually questionable for this game. So it seems like the left knee is it's not going to get better as they continue to drag through the season. So you can expect Noel probably to be in and out of this lineup all season.
I mean, Mitch has played 45 games this season. He's played a majority of the season so far. He's been holding up pretty well, even though we keep getting scared sometimes. Every time he goes down, I'm like, please don't be this moment. But Noel, it stinks that it feels like every time Mitch is in, Noel's out. This is one of the very few times that we had Mitch and Noel in this game, together. But yeah, it was during the middle of the game too that Knicks PR tweeted that Noel was questionable return. The knee is just bothering him, man. He's not it looks like he's moving better, but if you got to worry about that knee, I think it's time to move on, man. See if you can package him up in a trade and get him on out of here.
That's one play I don't think you get rid of. Go ahead, Ash.
I'm with you, CP. I think it's going to be really difficult to kind of find anyone who's going to pick that up in terms of salary. But I do think it's unfortunate because the knee is such a nagging injury, right? Every time you think you're okay to go, there's something that happens that's okay, maybe you're not okay. So between that and just, what we're paying him and, the amount of how much we've been able to utilize him or not utilize him, I think it's going to be really difficult to move him. I'm with you, CP. It's going to be a situation.
Yeah. So that's just how it's going to go right now with the Nerlens wall, but he was able to get in there and give it a go. I did say last night that if Halliburton dropped 30 on us, I was going to suspend Jay from Florida for the next week. 21 points for Halliburton. No Fox. We thought we were going to have a potential trade showcase here, but no De'Aaron Fox for the Kings. Halliburton got the start at the point. 21 points for Halliburton, 7 of 16 shooting. Al, eight dimes for him. Thought he was all right. Halliburton definitely looked all right. Knocked down a couple mid-range shots. Played some decent defense. Thought he was decent out there. Thought he was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was nothing crazy. I mean, him, Davion Mitchell, they both had their flashes here and there. But this Kings team, man, they're a struggling team. Their leading scorer is De'Aaron Fox. You see why they need De'Aaron Fox. It was pretty difficult for them to get downhill, and that's really what he does for that team. That's how he opens it up for everybody else. Mm-hmm. And Halliburton's known as that connector, right? He's not someone that you're going to constantly keep getting downhill.
Right.
He's a good jump shooter, and that's how they're like that thunder and lightning. You have De'Aaron Fox going in, pass it out, and Halliburton will find that other guy, be that second guy that you need to, look for someone out in the perimeter or create his own shot.
Every time I see Halliburton, my feelings just get hurt.
Why? What happened?
It just hurts my feelings.
You jumped in his DMs or something? You shot your shot?
No. Whoa, no.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm just asking the questions here. You said your feelings were hurt. I don't know.
Problem.
If you got curved, you could share with us. We're all friends here.
It's just the the ideology or the thought of what could have been, and just my feelings get hurt a little bit. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah,
just
it's
a little
funny.
bit.
You know, you hear a lot of fans like, "Oh, trade for Halliburton." Like, oh, we should have just drafted him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But,
It hurts my feelings a little
Yeah.
bit, but you know what? I get over it, but
Yeah.
it hurts a little bit.
Absolutely.
Don't
man. Go
don't
ahead,
worry if he becomes available, the Knicks will be out there searching to see if they can get him.
No,
Because
I heard he is an a untouchable. Like
Oh yeah,
Untouchable.
I can't see the Kings
yeah.
trading him
So like
unless it's the Simmons
that ship
deal.
has sailed.
Yeah, unless it's a Simmons deal, I can't see the Kings trading him. You know, I don't see it.
But hey, shout out to Desus Nice because I saw him, TA, and Sue Bird for three Old Men and the Three podcast. Maybe they kept him out late last night. You know, had him a little tired for today's game, so he couldn't perform. You know.
Yeah, maybe, man. But yeah, once again, people in the chat, if you guys want to call in with your thoughts on the game, give us a call. 657-383-1509 is the number to call, or you could hit us up on the Knicks Fan TV Discord. Let's go to my guy Benji from Manhattan. Benji, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Hey, Ash. I was in the build. I was good, man. I haven't called you guys in a minute because we've been struggling, obviously. I was in the building tonight. Felt good to just get a win, have a stress-free win, control it from start to finish. Fournier high, stand up. I know there's not many of us, but I thought he was big tonight, particularly in the first quarter. He could not miss. I think he hit his first 6 shots. They got him involved, so that was big. Obviously, Obi was outstanding tonight. I love that spin move he had in the fourth quarter. That was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Grimes was good as well. I mean, look, man, I'm taking the optimistic view. Wednesday's a huge game. If we can get past this game and get this win, we might have some momentum going into the big road trip. You know, obviously we have a daunting schedule ahead. We got to figure things out. I mean, I don't know how much longer we can have Reddish just not play. Mm-hmm. So that's difficult.
Well, Benji, man, the people in the chat want Reddish taking your guy Fournier's minutes, man. So what do you got to say about that, bro?
I mean, I'm fine if Fournier plays 20 to 25 minutes and Reddish plays 20 to 25 minutes as well. I'm fine if they can split that up, man. And if Evan is playing well like tonight, like he had it going tonight, he made his first 6 shots and 3 of them were threes. I mean, he was on fire.
Yeah.
So I think if he has a game like that, he plays more. And if he has a game where he's struggling and not doing anything, like we've seen the games where he doesn't take a shot in the first 7-8 minutes of the game, then I think Reddish deserves more of the minutes. But I mean, we can't go on like this, man. Like the way that the crowd reacted to Reddish coming to the game, it's like literally like Bernard King checking in the game. It's insane.
Yeah, it was a little much, but we just good to see him come in. It was a little deep.
You said it was a little much?
We just want the guy to get the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
But I think, man, look, I'm happy to see Burks have a bounce back game. He's been really, really bad for the last like 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big performance by him. He was just on fire. Grimes was really good too. I thought Noel was good in his limited minutes, but he was doing a knee stretch thing by us because I was sitting right by the tunnel. So he's doing like a knee stretch. Obviously, like he's not healthy, but
not at all.
And it's just a shame, man, because Mitch could be so much better, man. Like we need to hire him like a free throw coach, man. Like this dude could have like 20 more double doubles if he like could make 60% of his free throws. It's just insane. Like he leaves so many points on the table, and it just comes in. It just really hurts us. But I think as far as trade deadline, I mean, what is Sacramento doing? Right? Like De'Aaron Fox is clearly like expendable there. Like they're not. They have Davion Mitchell looks pretty nice for a young player.
Mitchell was looking kind of solid out there too.
And he plays good defense too. Like I noticed, like he's really fast. I know he's like an older. I think he's 23. He's an older rookie, but between him and Halliburton, like honestly, they don't need Fox. So I think like I would try to do something like Randle, Burks, and a first-round pick for Fox, and maybe some filler, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not that wild about Harrison Barnes.
No. Harrison Barnes, he's a good contender, not us. We don't need him.
Yeah, we don't need him right now. But yeah, I mean, look, Wednesday's a big game. Will you guys agree? Wednesday's a big game,
Wednesday's
and if we can win that game, we can make. I mean, it's going to be tough as hell because we know how good and how fierce Memphis is.
Yeah.
It's a shame, though. But keep in mind I was wearing my Walker jersey tonight, and he went scoreless. Doesn't feel so good, but yeah, y'all have a good night. I'm just happy to get a win tonight, whatever it is.
Okay.
And let's see what we can do on Wednesday.
Appreciate the call, bro. Appreciate the call. Yeah, on the Fox topic, it's just so weird. You never know what the hell Sacramento's doing over there. Like, they got Fox, they draft Halliburton, then they go draft Davion Mitchell, and they don't know what the hell's going on. And now the GM's under pressure to make the playoffs. They got redundant pieces in that lineup, underperforming, and they're a mess. They're a mess. So obviously, as Woj had said, they were the most aggressive team right now at the going after trade targets. But since Morey pulled back on Simmons, they pulled out of the Simmons thing, obviously. So I think what I'm trying to say is, I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go for Sabonis, bro. Alex, I think they're gonna go. I just think the way Julius is playing right now, I don't see him being in their top three, at the top of their top three. I think it'll be Sabonis, and then maybe Julius. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, anything would be better than having Mo Harkless out there playing power forward for them. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, Sabonis, I could see that happening. It's just, and it makes sense too, because Indiana is looking to be sellers as well, and they're trying to do a whole rebuild process as well.
Right.
And we already know that's Turner, Sabonis, and LeVert that's on the block. So it makes sense that the Kings would go in that direction. Yeah, with Julius, with how he played tonight, if he can keep this up, I don't see the Knicks trying to sell low on Julius Randle. If they do sell on Julius Randle, it would probably be this offseason, but not right now. I think we're gonna see Randle stay around for the rest of the season. They're gonna try to work with him and get him back straight, back going in the right direction, and move on from there if they can.
Yeah, I think that the Knicks are invested in Julius Randle. How long they're invested, or how long their patience is with his drastic difference from last season to this season, and how long it takes him to get back to even a remnant of what we saw last year, that I don't know. That's the $1 million question. I do think that leash, if you will, of patience is a lot longer than Knicks fans. I don't think they're going to make a move by the trade deadline. I agree with Alex. If a move does happen, it's going to be in the offseason. I don't even think it happens in the offseason. I think Julius Randle is going to be here for a while. I don't think they make any monumental move unless a monumental player is available. Otherwise, if it's not a big fish, you can expect a lot of small pieces to be moved for a player to make an immediate impact, whether that's a veteran point guard. Obviously, D Rose is coming back, but Kemba, as much as we love him, it's just not going to work. In the long term, it's just not going to work. So I think you can expect a lot of small moves, but I don't think you're going to see anything with Julius Randle happening anytime soon. So
True indeed. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Oh, I just lost them. Hang tight. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for your squad. Let me get Alex and Ashley back up here. 1 second. Give me 1 second while I do that. Let me get Sam on here. Sam, what's going on, bro?
What's good? How you doing tonight?
Good, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the entire game. I caught the second half of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But during that second half, I really enjoyed what I saw there. Again, it's the Kings. You don't want to get too excited about it, but it's also a great game to get going and moving in the direction that we want to go. Mm-hmm. Talking about Quentin Grimes, lights out shooter, great defender.
Grimes, bro. Quentin Grimes. Let's go.
Amazing. And the thing that you want to point out is his positioning. He's moving really well. We got an offensive rebound, and Grimes didn't stand the 3-point line. He immediately dove into the paint for an easy layup.
Yep.
And, that positioning, that mental awareness on the court instead of just staying on the 3-point line. I understand that we're moving towards a play where we just want to keep on putting on 3-point shots. We're moving to a 3-point shooting team. Mm-hmm. But for him to be spatially aware of where to position himself, that's great, especially for a rookie. Also, another thing to point out, we shot 79% from the free throw. that's a place that we've been struggling in so much, so much. But 79%, it's great. You like to see that. And we beat the Kings in almost every single stat category that I'm looking at. And, it's just a great win.
One of those nights, Sam. You know what I'm saying? One of those nights.
Nights.
It's the Kings, but listen, we're in no position to be looking for style points here. I just went through 3 nights in a row of people whining and crying and belly aching about this team losing and Cam. And listen, they got to win. All right?
Yes.
Let's just be happy about that, man. I just went through several nights of these people just, jumping off a cliff over this team. I'm going to take the win tonight and be happy about it.
I agree. Yes, it will take the win, be happy about it, and we saw great play, so I'm excited.
Absolutely, man. How about Obi? Give me your thoughts on Obi, bro.
Oh, yeah, Obi Toppin, 14 points. I loved his creation off the dribble.
Yeah.
Clyde says it all the time. We don't see that much from him, and when he gets his chances, especially that Euro step that he pulled off late in the game, did not expect that. It was just great creation off him and stuff like that, so I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I thought Obi was solid, man. Definitely off the dribble. We saw a little bit of that in the Bucks game, and then got to see a bit more of that now. So good stuff, bro. You coming back for the watch along, right? We got the Lakers on Saturday, man. So
yes, I will be there. All
right, man. Good stuff, Sam. Definitely appreciate the call, bro.
No problem.
All right, that was my guy Sam. We got Alex and Ashley back up. They dipped into the Matrix real quick. What's going on?
I can tell you, we come from the future, and we can tell you, Julius Randle does not get traded this year. So unfortunately for all the haters out there,
to catch some
it
tomatoes
does
in the
not
chat.
happen.
But
what we did discover is a big player is on his way to New York. Can't tell you who.
Here we go.
And Obi has a face-up game. Don't worry.
Yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat once again, man. Hit that thumbs up button for your squad. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag news. Knicks post-game live presented by PrizePicks. Let's get back to the phones. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to G Music from BK. G Music, what's going on? Sounds like a new caller.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Good, man. You just gotta just lower your volume in the background, bro.
All right, am I good?
Yeah.
All right, levels is good. Man, the game was really good, man. I really enjoyed it. I think just watching Grimes out there kind of reminded me of a little bit of Devin Booker, a little bit of Clay. I'm not jumping off the edge. I'm not going to go too far. But I think they played really well. But, watching the game, I was kind of more so looking at it from a standpoint, not so much from the win, but more so, looking at what is the Knicks doing and what are the moves they're making. And one of the biggest takeaways, they're really playing the vets to pretty much boost their value, which I think is a really smart move. That's why you're looking at Kemba out there, you watching him play, you watching Randall play, and it was like a good audition to be able to see how the Kings players are playing as well. So I was looking at more so their players and seeing who would be a good fit. But I think they're doing a good job, being able to play the vets right now to boost their value. So when it's time to trade these guys, because I think they pretty much already had some conversations and they know what direction they're going in. So I think it was really good. I'm pretty much looking at this now, like, whatever they do going forward, whether they lose, whether they win, we're not sleeping anymore. We awake, So I'm looking forward to whatever trades they're going to do at the deadline, and we'll see what they're doing.
Okay. Who do you want? Who do you want at the deadline, bro? Who are you looking at?
Honestly, I would love for them to, with Randall, it's not so much how well he plays. So I'm looking more so for that they can package Randall and maybe either Burks or Evans, but maybe Fox and Hill, and maybe see if they could throw in a pick or maybe get like a third team involved.
Okay. I don't want any parts of Buddy Hill, man. You seen him tonight, bro. Man was taking the worst shots, making the worst decisions. I don't know. I'm not a big Buddy Hill guy, to be honest with you, bro.
I think it'll be good in terms of maybe just to match contracts. I think Burks right now has the highest value, and I think JD made a good point yesterday, what are they going to do with Mitch? And I think it's some good moves to be made, to kind of move off some of these contracts and give the younger guys maybe like some long-term shots on the contracts.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the call, man. Al, what were you were about to say something?
I was ready to say that I'd rather stick with Quentin Grimes than go with Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
I mean, Quentin Grimes gives you two-way effort, is a good shooter, tenacious. Buddy Hield is more so of an offensive guy. If you're adding Buddy Hield, you don't even know what you're going to get necessarily on a day-to-day basis, just outside of offense. So I'd just rather stick with Grimes and let him grow in that role.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your squad. Let me salute some of the super chats that have come in here. Salute to TGI Fly. It says many things being negatively reinforced. Tips for RJ and timed out. Stuffed them in the corner. Convenient for people to show up. Let's see what happens next game. At Freak NY says always nice to get a win. KFTV has been top-notch entertainment for every game. When the Rhyme Animal Chuck D, everybody throw hashtag P in the chat. Says, why is Chris Paul still the best point guard in the league at 36 and few are learning from him? Dude is laughing at the doubters saying he was done 3 years ago. Yeah, see, CP3's a legend, man. No question about it. Paul Robinson, $5 super chat says, trade Julius for cash considerations. I'm serious. Well, Paul, that's why you're not the GM of the team. Kareem Grant says, salute CP Alex, my little sis Ash, and shout out to Officer Grimes sending players upstate. Yeah, man, Grimes is locking them up. Salute to Joe, says Anthony Simons. Yeah, I don't see him being available.
No, Portland's not letting that kid go. So.
He's definitely not going. Who we want to salute in the chat? Salute to everybody in team hashtag new. I think I seen somebody in here drop that in here. I can't find them. But, yeah, so salute to everybody in the chat, though. Okay, back to the phones we go. Let's go to Silva from ATL. Silva, what's going on?
Hey, what's good? How y'all doing tonight?
Good, bro. How you feeling, bro?
Pretty good. Shout out, big fan of the show. I got a couple of things I want to get off my plate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to be brief. First with Randle, I'm not ready to throw in the towel with Julius just yet.
Okay.
'Cause I think one of the biggest issues from last year to this year is even though Elfrid Payton was, offensively anorexic, he knew how to run an offense. So Julius Randle got the ball where Julius Randle was supposed to get the ball. This year is totally different, man. Like Julius Randle is not he's not a facilitator. He's a finisher. He needs to get the ball in spots where he needs to finish. A true point guard would know that. I think that's the biggest issue that we got. I think if we do get a legit point guard, Julius Randle's play will improve significantly because he's not going to be dribbling the ball at the top of the key between his legs, turning the ball over. He's going to get the ball on the block.
He was doing all that last year with Peyton too, though, bro. He was doing that last year.
Well, yes and no. Like he would get the ball at the top of the key in those spots, but he wasn't. He would if he brought the ball up, he had a clear lane to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him weaving through traffic and stuff. I watched a lot of games last year. I don't remember seeing all that. And if he did, he hit him at a higher clip. I don't know.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not ready to throw in the towel on him just yet. I think the biggest issue the Knicks need to address is getting a point guard.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have to trade Julius Randle to do it.
Okay. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call. I mean, now, look, I was seeing the same stuff from last year. I just think the biggest difference this year, he's not making good decisions. He's not getting good shots, and teams are keying in on him much more this year than last year. The tape is out. And
yeah,
and look, we pegged him into this role as the number one guy, as the number one option for the team. Team's game plan, they scheme against him, and he's showing that he's just not. So the Knicks have to go in a different direction that emphasizes, ball movement, moving without the ball, and getting other guys involved. Get RJ back involved, and see if Julius can kind of play off of these guys rather than being relied upon to generate offense, both scoring and playmaking.
I agree with the caller in the sense that if you got Randle a point guard, I think he would be better. But going back with what Elfrid Payton did last season, Elfrid Payton just would bring the ball half court and then pass it to Randle, and then it would be Randle. Or the other thing is that Randle would just bring up the ball and just do it himself.
Right.
Randle was the engine of the team last season. And he didn't, I wouldn't even call like for what Elfrid Payton offered for the team, defense, just bringing the ball up half court. He offered very little. I don't think he was just this magical point guard that everyone was. Yeah, he wasn't really running like truly any plays. Those all being ran through Julius. And then if Julius found somebody open, and the thing about last season that Julius was such a good facilitator is that he was finding Reggie Bullock. That was like probably the biggest highlight was that 2-man game. He would find RJ open on the wing. You know, the thing that we complained about Elfrid Payton last season was that he couldn't even find RJ Barrett for the most part. That's or anybody else. So
I don't think he was running much too well.
Yeah, he was the only person he was looking for was Julius Randle, and that was the same thing his first season too. So I don't know. That not honestly, I didn't see that with Elfrid Payton.
I wasn't that impressed with him. Shout out my guy S.Po25. Al S. came through last night on the show and said he was the Knicks' good luck charm. Every time he went to a game, they won. Got the dub tonight. He says he's 14-0 when he attends the games at the Garden. So shout out to S.Po. For sending us some good luck. My guy David Futternick, West Coast Knicks in the building. Dave, I don't remember if you said you're going to the Lakers game. I know CK's going to be there. My guy Sean's going to be there, so we'll be out there heavy. If you're in there, definitely send us some footage. We got Team Hashtag New Tony P. What's going on? Illmatic Ray, how you feeling? King David, how you feeling? Jose Fernandez, what's good? Ash, what you want to shout out in the chat tonight?
Let's see. Shout out to everyone. Hashtag puberty. That's funny. That's funny. When Alex and I were in the Matrix, we were actually talking about that. That's funny. Let's see. Shout out to Mike Boy in the building. Shout out to Thomas Lewis in the building. Shout out to Willie Cruz in the building. Let's see who else we got here. Chris Ward Jr. Shout out to Paul Robinson. Shout out to all 2,100 of y'all in the chat. Thanks for rocking with us. You know, it was a win. A win is a win. You know, shout out to Lord Ravana. I think I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. And shout out to all the hashtag new people in the building. Shout out to KC. I see you. Thank you. Love y'all too. This sounds good. I'm here and Nick from Yuma. My name's not Monica. Like, I don't know why you keep calling me that. Like, I don't understand. Shout out to all the hashtag CashFanTV people in the building too. That's what's up.
Sure. Absolutely. Shout out to Nick Rinaldi, $10 super chat, says much love KFTV. I think some vets are gone, but if we can string together some wins on the road trip, I don't think Leon budges at the deadline and waits till the off season. Won't be mad. Okay. All right, shout out to him. All right, back to the Discord we go. Let's go to my guy, Simon. Simon, what's going on?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
How you feeling, bro? Good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I had a few things that I wanted to just discuss really quickly.
Yeah,
First of all, the YouTube chat, had to close that because it's a tough crowd out there. Ever since Ash mentioned the puberty thing, it's been nothing but tomatoes. It's like a farmer's market.
I didn't know how else to say it. Like, those who understood.
It's whatever, man. It's whatever. What else, bro?
It's all right. But the one thing that I wanted to mention for sure is like people are talking about Cam Reddish getting. I've seen somebody say Cam Reddish needs to get 25 minutes. Mm-hmm. Bro, Obi is barely getting 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, Tibbs is barely budging. You know, but like I mentioned today. Like I seen today, Obi got 20 minutes. So I think there's like a little bit of a budge from Tibbs. So I want to, round of applause to Tibbs for that because Taj has barely played in the last few games.
Yeah.
And just like this stretch, obviously we're going to evaluate talent. And what I wanted to ask you guys was, in evaluating that talent, what veterans do you see that you think will complement what we're going to do going forward? And which ones do you think are going to be traded away or should be traded away?
I think Burks is gone. Either this year, either this trade deadline or by the off season. I think he'll be gone. I think Kemba will be gone, either trade or buyout, whether it's trade deadline or at the end of the season. I think Fournier stays.
I think so too. I don't know why people don't like Fournier, bro. But Fournier, I think he has a competitive spirit, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting tomatoes right now in the chat, but I'm not looking at it. He has a competitive spirit, and I think offensively he can bring something to the table.
Look, I think Fournier stays, man. I think a lot of these fans, they want to see play the kids. A lot of these fans are under some delusions that they're just gonna play all kids, 1 through 8 in the rotations. It's never gonna happen. You're always gonna mix in some veterans on this team, And it just has to be the right mix. This year hasn't worked out so well so far, but it just doesn't mean that, McBride's going to start and Sims is going to get in. All these kids are not going to get a lot of playing time. Some will. The cream will rise to the top. Those who deserve it will get it. And
Absolutely.
Cam's time will come. Obi, I don't know if his time will come. It may not be here as long as Julius is here and as long as Tibbs is the coach. But, RJ's getting his minutes. Quentin Grimes, the coach can't stop talking about Quentin Grimes. So Grimes is locked in the rotation. He's good to go. And we'll just have to take it from there, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, man.
But yo, appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and check out the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
appreciate it, man. My guy Simon on the check-in. Yeah, man, as you guys know, the show is available in audio podcast format, man. My guy Simon puts that together for us, so definitely salute to him for putting that work in. All the major podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the major ones, man. So tonight's show links, you can go to KnicksFanTV.com and check out the links for tonight's show. So shout out to Simon for putting that together. Okay. Back to the phones we go, and then we'll get to our prize picks. Let's see who's on the phone lines right now. Let's get to JJ from Brooklyn. JJ, what's going on?
Yo, what's good? How's everyone doing?
What's good, bro? Well, how you feeling?
Chilling. Doing well, man. Thanks. Grimes, I gotta say, I'm loving him, man. The thing that I love so much about Grimes is his versatility on defense. You can put him on 1 through 3. You can got point guards, forwards. The thing with RJ is, in my opinion, he hasn't taken that step defensively like we had hoped for, losing Bullock. Like, he has his good moments, but he's been far too inconsistent on that end. So I think Grimes can maybe be our best perimeter defender. Like, you could put him on the team's best
he
scorer.
is our best. He's not good. He is our best perimeter defender. It ain't good.
He is, right. Yeah,
it's not good, bro.
Definitely. Like, on that note, I'm a little disappointed, I guess, that RJ didn't take that step. I'm not saying he's a bad defender, because he's not.
Yeah.
But he's not like, he's not as good on that end as we had hoped after losing Bullock. But I think having Grimes, it could help RJ out a little bit on that end. Maybe he could focus more offensively and not have to guard the team's best scorer.
True.
And Grimes could do that. Because looking at our next game against Memphis, I mean, I'm sorry, but we cannot have Kemba Walker out there guarding Ja. Like, I would honestly start Grimes. I mean, he might go for 50. I mean, if we're gonna have Kemba on him and not saying Grimes could guard him well, nobody could guard him.
Yeah.
Just to have Kemba on, that's gonna be a nightmare.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
But the thing with Grimes too is, I love seeing him. You saw him creating. The thing that I hate with like scouts and like, how do you say someone coming into the league as a rookie, as a 21-year-old, like 3-and-D? Not to say that means you're a scrub. There's a lot of really good players that are 3-and-D. But how do you label somebody like? I never really liked how they label like a young rookie as a 3-and-D.
I mean,
like, you're almost like limiting what they could be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's more there with Grimes, a little bit more.
Could be, but I mean that was the scouting report on him. If you guys watched the court vision that me and my guy Alex Morante did, that was a scouting report on him. He didn't put the ball on the floor as much at University of Houston. He was a knockdown 3-point shooter, great defender, tough shot shooter, great at the catch and shoot, great at pull-ups, but he didn't really have much of an intermediate game. Same with McBride. Doesn't mean that that's the end-all be-all. Just means that coming in, these are their strengths. That's what he has to work on. But so far, he's certainly looking good. Had some nice baskets, putting the ball on the floor. So definitely shout out to Quentin Grimes. And here was Julius. Julius spoke on Grimes' play tonight. Let's hear what Julius has to say.
He's good. Yeah, he's really good. I know he's came in as a shooter, but I don't really know what his reputation was coming out of college.
Julius I don't know.
I mean, he does that. He competes. What I like is he competes on the defensive end, but I think he has a lot more to his game other than just shooting the ball. He can get in the lane. He can finish. He plays at a really good pace, and every time he shoots the ball, it looks like it's going in. So, I think he's going to have a bright future in the league.
What do you see about him? He seems to have a toughness and understanding of the game a lot of rookies
Yeah, I mean, he'll keep. There's little things that he throughout the game that just takes experience that he'll get better at. But with experience, he'll get better. Like I said, and he's really good, man. Like, I think the biggest thing with him is, like, he's talented, obviously, and he can shoot and play defense and a lot of different things, but he competes. And if you had that, you'll have a long career in the league.
All right, so first off, Julie spoke to the media today. So give him a round of applause, everybody in the chat, man. We're seeing growth. We're seeing progress. Julie is speaking to the media today after a win. That was very nice of him. Oh, so that's acceptable now that we won. So now we can come through.
I'm not saying it's acceptable. What I'm saying is it's easy to speak to the media when you win. You know what I mean? I don't like the fact that he's on his phone. It's a very nonchalant, just like I'm here so I don't get fined type of like demeanor. I don't think that's, correct. I think that's not something that should happen. Win or lose, it's just, a disrespectful, nonchalant, just kind of like blasé, just attitude. But I mean, I guess if you want to celebrate the fact that he won, that he's speaking to the media, okay, but is he really? Like, I don't know. But I mean, I guess small victories, right?
Yeah. I'm just here for the Grimes talk. Go ahead.
And by round of applause, I'm guessing you mean all the tomatoes, right? That are being thrown in the chat for a guy that's not even on the panel, but he's getting all the tomatoes.
Shout out to Julius and his comments on Grimes. Dale Will in the chat, $10 super chat, says 21-5-4, says I hope CP's not thinking about jumping back on the sinking Burks boat. Trade him tonight. His stock is at its max. Don't worry about the Burks Hive, man. We'll be all right. Trade or no trade, the Burks Hive will be A-okay, man. Don't worry about the Burks Hive tonight. E-Crossover in the chat. E-Crossover, what's good? Is he ready? E-Crossover.
Yo.
Yep. How you feeling, bro?
Hey. How y'all feeling tonight? Everything's good?
Yeah, man. Got the win.
A good win tonight. I have to admit, Grimes and the other players were playing really well. Julius was actually moving the ball a lot more today. I actually see him getting people open, and Fournier got it going. It's pretty good. Main thing I want to talk about is just the trades. It's gonna be hard to move Randle, of course. I want him going because I don't think that he's gonna fit for the future. But who knows? Maybe he changes it around.
Mm-hmm.
But Burks and Kemba is your Kemba's your main priority to get out because you need somebody to fill that point guard role. If you don't get Fox off of a trade, try to get Jalen Brunson in the offseason. Or if not, if we stay 12 or something and we get to the lottery and we could draft a point guard that can bloom. But we do have Deuce McBride too. So I don't know. It's gonna be a tricky offseason. It's gonna be a tricky deadline, man. But Kemba and Burks are probably the ones that's probably gonna go first, and then probably maybe Fournier. But I don't know. He's probably gonna stay. Who knows? But that's it, guys. Have a great night.
All right, man. Appreciate the call, man. Rapid fire for E-Crossover tonight. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't see Fournier getting moved. I just don't see it. But I think Burks would be a good candidate, and we'll see what the market is for Kemba. See what it is. I think he'll either get dealt or maybe get bought out, either after the deadline or by the off season.
I think it's interesting about just reading the chat of all the people wanting Randle traded and things like that, and this person this traded. I'm really curious on what the chat thinks this team is as currently constructed, not what you would like the team to look like, currently constructed. Okay, so remember, that's the key word here, without Julius Randle. If you think that this team is drastically better without him, then sure, I can understand the philosophy, but I don't know if this team is drastically better without him. Could they be slightly better? Maybe, but is slightly better worth moving a player like Julius Randle when you haven't really surrounded him with the talent that's conducive to his skill set? And what I mean by that, he's not supposed to be the number one guy. I think we know that. You've said it. Alex said it. JD, everyone has said it. Like, he was forced into that role because of circumstance, but until you surround him with players that he does not have to be the number one guy, or he's not constantly forced to be the number one guy when it's not conducive, I don't know if you can make that decision. So I'm just curious on what or how drastically better you think this team is without him, because I really don't understand it.
They're not better without him. I can tell you that. They're not better without him. The problem
why is he the scapegoat for every single thing
because
that's wrong with the New York Knicks?
Because he's the guy. It's just automatic. It just happens that way.
Is he the number one guy, or is he not the number one guy?
He is the de facto number one guy.
If you're not the number one guy, you can't be blamed for everything. If you are the number one guy, sure.
He's not as a player. He is on this team. You know what I'm saying? But that's the problem. That's the problem.
But then listen to what you just said. See, that's the key here is you have a guy who's the number one guy who's not supposed to be the number one guy, but he's forced to being the number one guy because the front office didn't do what they were supposed to do to get a number one guy. So how is that his fault? That's what I'm not understanding.
It's not necessarily his fault, but it just is what it is. You know
I know
what I'm
it
saying?
is what it is.
It just is what it is.
But what I'm looking at it from devil's advocate perspective is it'd be different if he was a number one guy and he's not playing like a number one guy. Then I can say, okay, well, this is not what we signed up for. But he's not a number one guy. He's forced to be a number one guy by the shortcomings of the people who are supposed to construct this team. So how do you know that he's not a part? He can't be an intricate part of a team in a role that does not have him being number one. That's my question, really.
Those are all good questions. And like, I agree. Like, we all know that he's not the number one option. He's put in a position that he's not supposed to be, this, that, and the third. I think what fans want is that, I think it's twofold. One, we're not seeing the same effort that we saw last season that he gave us.
That's fair.
You know, like, you can't be taking playoffs on defense. Effort. You can't be choosing when you want to go downhill on games. When all last season, you know, you were going downhill, you were taking the right shots, you were playing your game, and he drastically changed his game at the beginning of the season. And I think seeing that inconsistency, knowing what we had last season, is one frustration. Two, I think with that, adding on to that, fans now just want to see all the young kids play. And that means moving him, Fournier, Kemba, and they want to see the youth just in there and seeing who they are and what this team can be. And like, I've asked to say that based on how this team has been performing too. I'm not going to shy away from it. But if we're going to get like a competitive, like, I don't see Julius getting moved, because you're not going to trade a guy at his lowest when you know what he can be at his best, and you want to get the most you can if you don't want him on this team anymore. I don't see that happening.
All great points. I agree with you. The lack of effort and the drastic lack of effort from last season to this, 100% agree with it. It's inexcusable. I agree also with letting the kids play, because ultimately I think that that's going to be the foundation of this team longer than Julius Randle being the number one guy. Completely agree with that. I'm simply saying, and for the longest time, I don't understand the trade Julius, because you move him. The team's not drastically better without him. And also, like I said, he was forced into a role that he really should not ever be in, because that's not where his skill set is going to be the most beneficial. So I don't understand how you can make an assumption that somebody is not supposed to be part of this team in any capacity when he hasn't been put in a role that's beneficial to what he can bring to the table. I can understand everything that you just said, and I agree with it. And I can understand the frustration with the decline from last season to this season in all aspects. I'm just simply saying, I think it's a drastic narrative to push that there's no role for him in any capacity to the point that he has to be moved by the trade deadline. I feel like that's really dramatic. That's just how that's just how I see it.
Do you think this is also partly due to the fact that people want to see Obi Toppin play more, and they're just curious what Obi can be without Julius Randle being here?
It could be, but that's, again, it's faulting the players for the decisions that are made by the coaches and the front office. I 100% agree that Obi should be playing more minutes. I said on average, I would like to see him playing 15 to 20 minutes. But in order for that to happen, Tibbs needs to go ahead and make Julius play less minutes. That's not a decision that Julius can make. That's a decision that the coach has to make. There's a way to go ahead and kill two birds with one stone, if you will. There's no reason that Julius, especially with his up and down productivity this season, has to be playing as many minutes as he's playing. There's no reason that Obi shouldn't be playing more minutes on average. You can exist in both spaces. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It just seems that with this team, it's always one or the other when it doesn't have to be. So I understand wanting to see Obi play more minutes. I agree with that. I would love that, especially for his development, for what this team is going to look like in the future. I just think the trade Julius by the deadline narrative is so dramatic because you're really just taking a guy that you put on a pedestal last season, and because his productivity is down because he's in a role that he really shouldn't be, and now all of a sudden everyone's like, trade Julius by the it just seems extremely dramatic.
It's a very complicated thing, man. It's very complicated. He was brought in consolation prize after the KD Kyrie thing flopped. We had nobody else. He was the highest paid at the time. You're automatically going to be in that role. Tibbs put him in that role, right? Had the year that he had, the front office also drafted Obi, so there's your conflict there. But Tibbs put him in that role to have the offense go through him. He rewarded him last year. The expectations are now through the roof after the success that they have. People won't say, don't worry about last year, don't worry about last year. This is recency bias. This is what have you done for me lately. This is the town that we're in. We can only go off of that. That is our benchmark now. So you can't just forget about everything and just start over. So Tibbs is coming into this season with that in mind. They paid him the contract. So by default, he is our guy on the court and through the business. He is our guy.
It's by default. You get what I'm saying?
But as a result of the losing, on top of the fact that his hustle's just not there, he's checked out mentally because of the pressure, I have to believe. I don't know everything that's going on with him, but I have to believe that the pressure of trying to recreate that success in the midst of battling through double teams and all the schemes that these teams are throwing at you now is weighing him down. And so the fans are tired of it. So they want him up out of here.
Let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
Do you not believe, and this is honestly me just trying to understand the ideology behind this, because everything you're saying is factual. I agree with the productivity is drastic. The effort is drastically different. All of those things are true. But two things can be true at the same time. And it was by default, he became the number one guy when he shouldn't be the number one guy. So you don't think that what we witnessed last season can be recreated in a situation that's conducive for what he brings to the table? Because it's not like you wake up one day and you're one player and the next day you're a different player.
Hey, look, he's looking like it right now. He's looking like it right now.
But you have to, but also look at the situation. Basketball is also situational. I mean, we see this all the time. Sometimes you don't work in the constructs of a certain team because it's just not a good situation. That doesn't mean you have to remove him completely from the situation. It just means you have to change the situation. I think that the team needs a lot of work.
Yeah, but
I think Julius Randle as a 1B or a 1C guy would work. I think him as a 1A doesn't work, but that's not his fault. He's in that position by default.
The problem, I think the problem is going out and going to get that 1A. You got to part with half the team, and now you got to say, is that worth it for him?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Is it worth getting rid of Grimes? Yeah, you're going to have to get rid of Grimes and future first rounders and maybe RJ. If you really want to get that guy, you know what I'm saying? If you really, really want to get that guy that's head and shoulders better than him that can carry a team, you got to part with all these young guys, all of them.
And the other thing too is that we only had one really, really good season out of Julius Randle. So I think as a fan base, you're also worried that what is the actual who is he as a player? Because this is a drastic drop. We know who he was prior to coming to the Knicks. And then we know what he was prior before he came to like last season. We know he could be a double-double machine. We know he wasn't really a three-point shooter like that. He wasn't even really a mid-range shooter like that. Then this one season, he's able to hit some of the toughest mid-range shots. He's able to be a knockdown three-point shooter, shooting over 40%. He's this facilitator making all these prime like passes, and then he gets to this season and you're like, okay, is this either a really slump? What are you when you're just we're not expecting the same. There's be no expectation of like the same productivity, but what are you in between? I think that's another fear, is that if you keep him a long time, are we going to get just a player who was just one magical season and then now is just going back to maybe just being a better role player, which is what he was in New Orleans? I think that's the biggest fear, especially with this type of contract that he has.
But how do you? I hear what you're saying, but again, it's a drastic drop, 100%. Nobody's arguing that. I'm not going to argue that. I agree with both of you. I agree with the fans. I agree with all of that. I'm simply saying, how can you make a decision that concrete off of a decline in one season? It'd be different if this team was constructed differently and we made the moves, and now Julius Randle's in a role that's perfect for him. He's not the 1A guy. He's a 1B, 1C guy, and it's still a drastic decline. Then that's a conversation. Okay, well, we gave the pieces that you needed to go ahead and suit your skill set, but it's still not there. Then you move him. But he's still in the constructs of a team that's is not beneficial to what he can bring to this team, to a unit. So how can you make that decision? That's all I'm asking.
Well, that's the decision that the front office is faced with right now. You know, that's what Ian Begley had a nice take on it earlier this week. That is the situation that they're looking at. The fans are just impatient. We're an impatient town, so they want to run him up out of here early, and that's understandable too. And I think you have a point as well. Like, how do we know that he can't be the guy that you can be, that he can be a role player supporting cast with? Problem is, getting that top guy, by trade or whatnot, like I said, you're going to have to part with half the team. Now, there's another portion of this fan base that says, we want to see the kids, we want to see the kids, we want to see the kids. Yeah, we want to see the kids, but in the back of our heads, we still want to see wins too. And this is how we run coaches up out of here and players up out of here. Because you want to see the kids, you want to see the kids, you want to see the kids. And then when they're losing 2 years in a row, you want that coach out of here because the team's not winning. So,
but that's part of the problem, Steve. This is the same thing that this fan base and a lot of people in this chat did with Obi last season. If it was up to half this fan base, Obi would have been shipped off before the NBA playoffs. Yeah. You can't. The same situation would have happened with RJ Barrett when he didn't produce quick enough. You can't just dump players because they're not producing quick enough in a situation, in a team that's not conducive for them to do so. All I'm simply saying is, you saw the type of player Julius Randle can be. There's no saying that he can't be that in the constructs of a team that are beneficial for him, where he doesn't have to be the 1A guy. I'm not saying it's going to be a forever relationship, but I'm saying dumping somebody after coming off an MIP season because this season he's not good or as good as he was is just throwing away an investment, especially for something that you don't even know if the better exists. You don't know if you're going to be able to get any of the other players.
That's fair. I think you got fair points. No,
for sure.
I think you got fair points, man. 2,300 people in the chat. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 1,000 likes in here. 2,300 people in the chat. This is Knicks Postgame Live presented by PrizePicks. Al, go ahead, last point. I'm going to get into my last point and then get into PrizePicks, and then we'll wrap up with some calls.
No, just adding on to your point, CP, like bringing in talent here too. I think if you're looking for like the future outlook, it's going to cost a lot to get the 1A guy, right? But we don't even have a 2 either. If we're saying Randall's a 3, we got to get a 1 and a 2. Yeah. So where do you get the 2 then? You have to draft the 2, you have to develop the 2. Is RJ Barrett about to take that step to be that 2? Like, you hope so. Like, he's shown that he can, and then you see nights like this where he struggles, and you're like, you have hesitation, but this is where it's just like a long process. And this fan base also, it's just very hungry. We're talking about 20 years of being starving. If you give me any food after being starving for so long, I'm just going to eat it. And I just want something good. We had that last season. We got the playoffs. We made it there.
Got that taste, man.
We just want to see. We want to see it again. We want to see that continuity.
This is so I spoke to a former Knick on this, and he hit me up this morning. Can't really say who it is because I told him I wouldn't say much, but he said.
So who is it?
I say this: it's a former Knick.
What letter does his name and his last name begin with?
I can't do it. This the homie right here. I can't do
Marcus Schmamby.
Ballin Boosted.
Nah, but he said, I did ask him about the Randle said. He said he's not a superstar in this league. He may or may not become one. He's a 3 at best on a championship contending team. Last year he had a crazy year and balled out, made the all-star team, got an extension in the off-season, and everything was blown out of proportion in New York like always. He said the expectation for him wasn't realistic in my opinion. He's not in that top tier who can really get it done and carry the team as the guy when teams are now scouting and game planning for you every night. His struggles proved that, and also proved that last year was a one-off situation. So.
He said, what was the last sentence of that?
He said his struggles proved that, and proved that last year was basically a fluke.
and that's where like this like anger comes in because, or like amongst the fan base.
I can't say if it was a fluke or not. I can't say that.
I think, but
I can't say it.
But that's just where this anger, I think, amongst the fan base comes from. Where it's like, if it's a fluke, then why are like you're thinking, why are we holding on to this guy? Why are we gonna pay a guy just to be a third, which he's actually getting properly paid as a third option, like throughout the league, like that's fair. But why, like, I think it's just, why are we keeping a third option when we don't even have the one option yet, and then start building around the one option? So and now instead it's all like, are we building around a third option when we don't even have the first option? What's going on here? I think that's all fans want to see, and that's where this youth movement comes in, saying, hey, what do any of these kids bring up, and then move on from there.
I just hate this toxic relationship that this fan base constantly has with players that aren't quick enough to produce, or there's a decline in their productivity. Basketball is situational. Sports in general are situational. Just because something works on one team or doesn't work on one team doesn't mean that it doesn't work in a different construct. It doesn't work in a different environment, and that environment doesn't have to be a drastically different team. All I'm gonna say is, and I'll end it on this, is if you move Julius Randle and you get another player in return, whoever that player may be, and you're still the same seed we are now, who are the fans going to blame then?
That player. It's just how it is, man.
Whose fault is it then?
You know, it'll be RJ's turn next, or it'll be the next guy.
Right.
You know, that's just how it is. You know, I hear you. I think you have good points on this, and front office has some decisions to make, no doubt about it. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your squad. We got over 2,000 people rocking with us, man. This is Knicks Postgame Live, presented by PrizePicks, CP the Franchise, Ashley Moss, Alex Retaros, the Stratocaster. As I said earlier, man, this show's presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports prop operator out there on the market. They have more NBA props than any other prop operator on the market. And what do I mean by props? It's a very easy game. We're just picking overs and unders on PrizePicks. So what you guys want to do is go to PrizePicks.com, enter promo code KFTV for a 100% match on your deposit of up to $100. Now, here's how I played my PrizePicks tonight. Let me, I got the wrong graphic up. Hang tight. I wasn't even prepared here. Let me get my PrizePicks graphic up here. Had a so-so night tonight out of my 5 picks, but I will break that down for you guys real quick. Shout out to PrizePicks. Okay, here's how we did. So, as I said, man, you're going to go to PrizePicks.com, promo code KFTV, and sign up. And with PrizePicks, you're just going to pick 2 to 5 players, and you can win up to 10 times your money. It's that easy to play. The first player I picked right off the bat, Tyrese Halliburton, over 16.5 points. No De'Aaron Fox. Halliburton coming off of a career high against Philly, and I didn't think there was any way that we were really going to slow him down as much. Halliburton finished with 21 points on the night, so that was an easy over. The next one I picked was a Block Nest monster, Mitchell Robinson, over 8.5 points. Kings cannot stop opposing bigs at all. One of the worst defensive teams against centers, both points and rebounds. So I thought Mitchell was going to hit that over. Ended up hitting that with 9 points. I went with Pascal Siakam, Al, 34.5, over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists against the Hawks. He just came short with, he had 33 combined. Raptors did get the win over the Hawks, 105-100, so the Knicks are able to gain ground in the playoffs. I went back to my RJ Barrett, over 3.5 free throws. RJ finished with just 2 tonight, so I did not hit that. Now, as I told you guys, I originally did go with Alec Burks on the over 7.5, but I wasn't as confident in the Burks hive tonight, so I ended up changing this and going with Evan Fournier on over 3.5 threes, and I did hit that. So the 3 that I hit tonight was Halliburton over 21.5 points, Mitchell Robinson over 8.5 points with 9. I missed the Siakam one. I hit Fournier, and then I missed on RJ. So I did hit 3 out of 5. Didn't get the $200 that I was looking for. I put in $20. Was hoping to get $200. Came out with a measly $8. but still got my 3 out of 5. So you guys at home can try your luck. Go to PrizePicks.com, enter promo code KFTV, and like I said, they will match your deposit up to $100. Okay, all right, let's wrap up with a couple more phone calls and then get up out of here. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Great conversation, great game. Okay, couple more. Let me go to S. Poe. He was at the game tonight. S. How was the vibes at MSG, bro?
Yeah, and the vibe was good, man. I got there during the introduction. I heard Julius Randle. They already booing him.
Ooh.
I was like, guys, man,
tough
like
crowd.
booing during the introduction. But he did. I actually liked how he played today. He did. It wasn't doing nothing. I saw him play defense. First of all, I saw him getting some deflection. It wasn't really no big blockers, but he doesn't really get that many blocks or steal. But he was engaged and getting deflections, which was finally something. With the camp, I wanted to talk about a few things. With the camp thing, I agree with you, CP. I think after the trade deadline, once we trade Burks, I think Fournier might have to go too because D Rose is coming back. You got Grimes, and then you kind of got to get rid of 2 players for Cam Reddish to really float. Because if you bring D Rose back, you got D Rose, you got Quickly, you got Grimes that need to get minutes. It's just too much for just one person. So I think they might have to move Fournier too. Unless you move Kemba and they D Rose being the starter, but you want D Rose in the second unit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You want D Rose in the second unit, so it's just a whole lot of things that have to get moved before we can get Cam. I know Cam's going to play. I agree with you there. I'm glad that he got 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes today, but it's just so much stuff that has to go. And one more thing I wanted to talk about. The trade. I think we should go get DeJounte Murray, which I probably don't think we could get him, but Spurs have Derek White. They have the guy Primo, and they look like I don't know if they could build around Murray. It's just not the Pop way, but Pop's leaving probably in a year or two. But it's just I would like to go for Murray. Yeah. That's what I would like to say.
You're trying to talk yourself into it. I don't think they're giving up. I don't think they're giving up Murray. But shout out to S. man. Shout out to S. I don't think they're giving up Murray though, man.
Would love to get DeJounte Murray.
That's a Knicks fan.
That's not gonna.
Love DeJounte.
That's a Knicks fan fabricated trade. Knicks fans been talking themselves into putting DeJounte Murray on the block all year.
I'm gonna start that rumor. I'm gonna start that rumor right now. DeJounte Murray to the Knicks, per sources.
CK added again with his point guard propaganda. It was first Lonzo Ball, now it's DeJounte Murray. And everyone's like,
Murray, man. Bro, we've been getting calls about DeJounte Murray literally since like November, and I'm looking all over the internet. I'm like, where are the rumors, the news that DeJounte Murray's even on the block? I'm like, y'all making this up, man. It's just one of those things. But
I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna start this rumor. Make sure everybody retweet me and give it life. If we manifest it, it can happen.
That's never happening. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your squad. 2,000 people rocking with us. Number one show for the fans by the fans. KnicksFanTV. Post-game live presented by PrizePicks. Okay, 2 more before we wrap up. Let me hear from my guy Val from Jersey. Val, what's good?
How are you guys doing tonight?
What's good, Val? How you feeling, bro?
Good. I just wanted to bring up something. I know oftentimes we focus on like these weird point guards, but I think there's a player out there that fills in another need that we have, and I think it's the Aiton kid on Phoenix. And what I'm seeing is that Phoenix doesn't want to pay him.
No chance at Aiton, man. Come on, Val, man.
You sure? Are you sure? Because listen, hear me out. They got Biyombo. They got JaVale McGee. They don't want to pay Aiton, and they need a power forward. Huh?
Val, man. Val. They are not getting rid of DeAndre Ayton, bro. Come on, man.
So why not pay him? So what are they going to do? How are they going to keep Ayton in Phoenix if they don't want to pay him?
Oh, man, bro.
Are they going to they're going to do the Death Row record thing where you got to stay for cheap?
Oh, Val, man. But their value backed it up with saying they got Bismack Biyombo and JaVale McGee.
No. I'm saying, listen. They drafted the Jalen Smith kid. They got JaVale McGee. They brought in Biyombo. It's like one of them things where you keep bringing in different people. It's like you're on a date with Ashley, but you keep inviting your ex after the date. You know what I mean? Ask you don't pick up, you call your other ex. It's like one of those things.
Val, man, I'm sorry, man. We gonna have to drop you off here, man. This is your last stop, Val. This is your last stop, man. Oof.
Wow.
And Val is my guy, man. I tried to hang on. But we were losing him fast. The tomatoes flying in the chat. We were losing you fast, Val. Fast.
How did I end up on a date in this
Then
scenario?
Ash is catching strays in here.
How did I end up on a bum date in this scenario? I'm very confused.
Oh, man.
I was just here minding my business, and all of a sudden I'm on a date.
Val, we tried, man. It's just not your night. It's just one of those nights, Val. You know what I'm saying? You like RJ tonight. He just wasn't on. You know what I'm saying? You can still call back, man. I always save the line for you, Val. But tonight just wasn't your night, man. All right, let's wrap this up. Closing out the show on the West Coast.
Froze.
Yeah, they were dumbfounded in the chat. They're like, bro, what? Abdul, man, talk to me, Abdul. I know you got something better, man. What's good, bro? Closing the show.
Yo, what up, man? It's been a minute, but I watched all the replays and I post you guys on social media.
Of course.
Look, man, tonight's call has been comical, man, especially with that last call. My man came out of left field with DeAndre Ayton. Like, I'm like laughing on the road. But look, I wanted to touch up really quick. Yo, I'm literally like, yo, what the hell? Like, I'm like, what? Where did that come from? But I really want to touch up on the Julius Randle situation, right?
Yeah.
So I watched all the recalls. I watched the game. And for me, he's just not engaged in the situation of the games. Because what happened is, right, us as Knicks fans, one, we always overreact on everything. For us, we're frustrated because we paid him money off of his production from last season, right, expecting him to come in and do this, at least give us the same effort, right? We understand the playoffs happen, but he came in not fulfilling the shoes that we paid him for, right? I get it. We try to add in other pieces and it's not gelling. Right, that's up to the coaching staff. But one thing as players, we can control our effort on the court. And us as fans, we're not seeing that same effort. So, yes, that's why we're like, yo, trade him today, trade him tomorrow. I'll be honest, I don't see him leaving this team this year just because of how the team is going, right? He's going to stick around. We're going to hope that he can dig himself out of the hole that he's in. I definitely see Evan Fournier sticking around just because he's probably, I know it's like inconsistent, but consistent, but he's been at least the player showing up when he's able to get in. Right now, can he give us that throughout the stretch of the game? That's something that we need. You know, RJ has been doing his thing, but tonight wasn't his night. Yeah. And what I understand is us as Knicks fans, we have to just be patient, right? We've been waiting for 20-something years, right? We got a little bit of taste of success last year. We just need to continue to build off that, right? So it's okay to overreact, but it doesn't make any sense bringing in players who are not going to fit what we need moving forward. Yes, let the young guys play. That's very important. But then also we don't want to expose Cam Reddish, for example, just coming into the team, expose his weaknesses, right? So I'm looking at it as he come off an injury with the ankle with Atlanta. This could be an extended rest period for him to possibly just get his feet wet in the team. So I'm excited for what's going to coming forward within our Knicks. I'm just praying that we can get it together and just get more effort every single night. Tonight was a great win, but I'm not going to beat my chest on tonight. Yeah. The next couple of games is where we can really determine what we're going to be moving after the trade line. So, look, I appreciate you guys. I love you for what you do. Bro. Continue to keep grinding, man, and I'll call you guys next time.
Yes, sir. My guy Abdul closing the show tonight. Salute my guy Abdul, man. Great call. Abdul checking in from the West Coast. The West Coast Knicks contingent. Great show, man. Great show. My guy Abdul always tags us on his IG stories when he's watching the show, man. For you guys at home, if you're watching, especially if you're watching on the big screen, you watching on your computer, tag us on IG, man. We'll share the story, promote your page, promote your brand. You know, tag us on IG. You watching the show, share these videos, goes a long way. We definitely appreciate all the super chats, but there's so many ways that you guys can support us just for free, and it goes a long way. Like I always say, man, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button for you boys, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share these videos, share it on Twitter, Facebook, you know, text your grandma, let her know. Number one show for the fans, by the fans. We are here every night after every game, never going anywhere. And we're the number one show for the fans by the fans. Numbers don't lie. Shout out to Abdul. Shout out to the Rhyme Animal, Chuck D. We got legends in the chat, vibing with the people. Chuck D's in here early. He's in here before we get in here sometimes. Most nights. You know, Chuck is in there on the pregame show. We got great mods that's putting this thing together. We got mods putting the whole Discord together. The Discord is a whole nother entity, a whole nother world outside of this show. So shout out to TM, shout out to Gotta Be Legend, everybody that's involved in building up the Discord, because that thing is really its own life form. So we appreciate everybody for participating and really just building this thing up. Good win tonight, 116-96. Knicks coast over the Sacramento Queens. Now we got John Morant. Tough Memphis Grizzly team coming through on Wednesday before we go out west. So look, this was a win that we needed, and we'll take it, man. Let me salute the super chats that have come in. Uh-oh, hang on. What is Edgar saying? Okay, nah, Edgar, all good, man. We're gonna wrap anyway. So let me salute the super chats that have come in. Salute to Rhyme Animal Chuck D again says, I don't buy when they say someone is not a number one guy he can never be. In my opinion, very few stars are born. They are developed by systems. Superstars evolve from these lessons. NBA evaluations are premature. Shout out to Kobe. He says, it's not Randle's productivity, it's his effort. He's not even engaged with his teammates. He's only speaks during wins, and it's selfish. No excuse for that.
I agree with that 100%, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Can't be dodging the smoke if you want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Ashing out, forgive me. I got to go Urkel mode on y'all tonight. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, I'm clear. Bill Peter Francis, the only way we get a 1 or even a 2 is to trade RJ or Randle along with most of the current talent, and that player isn't out there right now. Develop what you have until then. I'm with Bill. Shane VO, $5 super chat, appreciate it. First Lady of Sports says we can't determine what this team is until we get a bona fide point guard. Heck Brezzo says not trading kids to help Randle, he's not that guy. Russell Reed, Grimes on fire, plus Joe Ingles ACL equals Fournier or Burks to Utah. Thoughts on a trade? Yeah, I would look at Burks. You know, Utah doesn't have that many contracts that can match up with us though. That's why I was kind of looking just prematurely at. Like I saw Rudy Gay. I think he was making around close to like 5. You have Azubuike Udoka Azubuike. I gotta look at that roster again to see how the salaries will match up. Because, they got a lot of guys there that, they would want to keep. Obviously like a Royce O'Neal, those guys aren't going to be available. Clarkson obviously not available. So we'd have to see, what type of scraps they got over there that, we can make the salaries work. So we'll talk about that on the next Knicks Weekly for sure. The Ingles thing could be a development. First Lady of Sports, $10 super chat said Julius is a one-hit wonder. He's never been a superstar in his career. He's a ball-dominant player, and the offense is stagnant with him being number one. Russell Whiskey says last season was a pandemic anomaly. Randle has a career BPM of 0.3. He is, by definition, mediocre. Randle isn't good enough and young enough to build around. Trade him. Russell Reed says vicious cycle here equals poor roster construction leads to Julius' frustration and bad attitude. I think fans want him out more so based on his attitude. It's fair. $10 super chat. Maurice B says, does the panel think Randle can overcome his mental hurdles? If he does, he's a special talent that can help the team. Otherwise, his poor body language is affecting the rest of the team and he got to go. Well, we got to see. Time will tell. It's hard to know that he can overcome that adversity. I don't know him like that. So, yeah, the only thing that'll prove that is time.
Yeah, it's gonna take time to figure out if he could do that. There's no clear-cut answer. We could always have hope that someone can, but that's they have to be. That comes from within.
Yeah,
and we don't know if Randle can do that or not.
Yeah, we got CATV Urkel in the chat trending right now. Salute, man, salute. Paul Quick, my guy Paul Quick out there in LA says poor roster construction does not force his poor shot selection, poor defense, bad attitude, and turnovers. Paul Robinson says Julius can fit on the bench, but it won't happen. Willie Cruz, appreciate it. KG7 Fui says this team will be better without Randle. Randle is an energy killer on this team. Trade him yesterday. Go New York, go. Paul Robinson, $20 super chat. Appreciate you. He says the way he's playing since full capacity shows that he wouldn't even thrive as a number 2 or number 3 guy. He misses free throws and open shots. It's not scapegoating. He can't handle New York. Why waste time? Trade him. He will thrive elsewhere. Fair point. Blood of the Panda says Julius led the Knicks to the playoffs somewhere that the Kings haven't been in 15 years. Give me Halliburton and a pick. Hashtag Obi Avengers. Hashtag free Obi. Hoodie Vintage. Good to have Burks back in the groove. Now ship him out of the Garden. And the Garden is getting itchy for Cam. Grimes is legit, and he's showing more in his bag. Hashtag free Obi. Jeremy Maynard says, nice win. Love the improvement and pace with Grimes and Obi in at the same time. Yeah, they're really picking it up, man. 14 fast break points today, too, Al. So I always like when we get out and run. We only average about 9 fast break points a game. And that second unit just does that. And, you know, Tibbs is very, very high on Derrick Rose and what he could do to that unit. So leads me to believe that 1, Rose is coming off the bench, and 2, he's going to get minutes back in his spot when he comes back. Crowded. Young Naughty says, good win, New York. If Randle can mentally beat himself, then keep him and bring in a true point guard to help him excel. If Randle can't beat himself, then trade him, period. Great show, guys, and continue to make history. Hashtag KFTV. Okay. Who else we got here? Paul, appreciate it. TJ Fly, appreciate it. Chuck, appreciate it. Kenny Gales says, look at us playing like a team. Mitch finally looking back to form, but free throws. Obi looking more and more comfortable every day. Yep, that's that. And yeah, man, once again, everybody, great show. Nice bounce back win, 3-game losing streak. Snap, members support our sponsors, man. PrizePicks.com. Promo code KFTV for a match on your deposit of up to $100. Always play responsibly. And also Manscaped, man. Don't forget to holler at us on Manscaped. Tom from Huntington, I saw you on the switchboard, man, but I guess you didn't have much time tonight. We were going to go to you. You know that Manscaped saved his marriage, so we definitely appreciate Tom for supporting us. and it'll do wonders for you too, fellas. Go to manscaped.com. Promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Good deal. Great products from Manscaped. Al, like I said, man, we got a care package coming your way. So let me know when you get it. Some new Manscaped products on the way. Ash, if you want some too, I can hook you up. Just let me know. You know, right. It's up to you. You know
she likes the flashlight. I don't know why, but she likes the flashlight.
Whatever you're into. Well, I like the flashlight for other reasons, but family show.
Yeah.
I do want my code for
for HelloFresh, right? Yeah, I gotta get you the HelloFresh. Okay, gotta get you that, man. And yeah, remember, audio podcast format. If you guys miss it, check us out on audio podcast format. And to the replay gang, if you guys made it to the end of the show, man, drop a replay gang in the comment section. Let me know that you in here. Definitely appreciate everybody's support. See you guys Wednesday. Knicks versus the Grizzlies. Peace.